Hello, I'm Michael Steffi, the current president of Phi Kappa Tau. Today I'll be talking to you a little bit about this past year and what our Elevations experience was. The Elevations program allowed us to get sort of some long-term vision at the beginning of the year that we might not have been able to have if we hadn't participated in it. So sort of going through the priority areas, first we'll start with scholarship. Scholarship is something that we've been pushing for since we recolonized about 3.5 years ago, and haven't really, we've had success and we've continued to move up, but this last year we finally sort of achieved a goal that we had set a while ago, which was to get a GPA above a 3.0. And so spring 2017 we finally did it. We pulled a 3.08 and ended up being in the top 3 fraternities, which was something we're very excited about. And I think a lot of that can be accredited to the Elevations program. I think that the biggest benefit was that it really sort of had us look at our current scholarship program and sort of see, what are these added resources that we can have. And I think a big focus that really helped propel us this year was we really focused on new members and sort of looking at it more in the recruitment process, as well as really connecting members who are in the same college or the same major. And that sort of culminated, I think, mainly in our study rooms. We had an average of 25 hours a week of available study rooms for the brothers in the library, and that really created sort of this experience that sort of bridged scholarship and brotherhood, and sort of was, made people want to go to the library a little more. So that's it on scholarship, and then we'll move on. Moving on next is harm reduction. Harm reduction for us, I think this year went well. We had one case that came up through conduct, but that just had to do with event registration. And I think that it was actually a good learning experience for us, because I think sort of after we had that incident and sort of that meeting, we really ramped up our event registration and sort of felt a lot more comfortable with the process through a couple of the sanctions we received, and then through us just sort of changing some of our internal policies as well. I think that in the past, I think that we've looked at risk management as more as a policy that we have to follow, and I think this year we took sort of some steps in the right direction, pushing to more of a harm reduction focus, of instead of this is what we do, it's like more of this is why we do it. And so moving into next year, I'd really recommend really keeping that focus of understanding the why behind the actions, and not getting caught up in some of the more trivial parts of the policy. Next, we have community service and philanthropy, and this year I think that we had a bit of a learning year in philanthropy for sure, and then had a pretty positive year for community service, which is exciting. This year it looks like we're going to run right around 20 man hours per person for this calendar year in terms of community service. Really excited about that. I think that we had some individual members really step up and really sort of push themselves, to really serve the community. But some things I think we could have worked on is having some more organized events, some more chapter-wide events. In terms of philanthropy, I think a big thing that we've struggled with in the past and we've continued to struggle with has been just the planning ahead, picking dates that are going to work, making sure that everything's set up. But one thing that I thought we really did well with this semester in comparison to past, or this year in comparison to past years, was our advertisement. All right, and after finishing out with philanthropy, we're going to move on to membership development. In regards to development, there are some things this year that we did really well, and then some things that, obviously there's room for improvement on. So some of the things that I thought we did well, I think we have a good culture in the fact that everyone wants to improve, and I think we have a good culture in the fact that the older guys are really willing to spend time with the younger guys, and sort of try to pass on any knowledge that they have. Some things that we could work on. I think that we could offer more programming, and I think that we could probably offer a little more specific specific things, if there's an area that people are looking to grow in, sort of starting up group messages or starting up whatever it is, to connect those brothers that are looking to grow in that way. Chapter management has been something that we struggled with in the past, and I think that's something, probably an area of our chapter that probably needs the most help. We, being still so new, we really haven't systemized too many things, and a lot of the responsibilities and sort of weight of the chapter, fall on a couple officers. Moving forward into this next year, that would probably be my biggest recommendation. Is what we should change is, really focus on systemizing all of our processes. Really focus. Moving on, we'll be talking about membership intake as well as new member retention. I think that this is something that historically we've done well, and something that we've continued to do well. And I think that it really arises, I don't think that we're necessarily throwing the best events, and I don't think we have the best planning, but I think that the chapter really does focus, and tries to engage every PNM that comes through the door or comes to every event, in really a deeper conversation. Lastly, we'll be talking a little bit about external relations. External relations is something historically that we struggled on, but I think in the past year and a half, even 2 years, we really changed our focus and put a big part of our energy into it. I think that this year we saw some results from that. We received one of our first substantial alumni donations, and we were able to build a couple meaningful relationships with some of the older FITAs that have graduated, and it started to build sort of a professional network in that sort of stance. I think that we've really cemented a positive relationship with FSL as well as with our national organization. All right, in closing, I think that this year has been a positive year for Phi Kappa Tau. And I think that the Elevations experience, played a crucial role in that. I think that, as I mentioned, some of the things that we struggle with, definitely organization, definitely planning, and so, having sort of this structure to follow, I think put us in a position for success, and something that I think we can, look to even improve on for next year. So thank you for listening to the video. Thank you for your time, and hopefully you enjoyed it.